Hi Vidor, how you doing?
Hey George.
Are you enjoying Istanbul?
It's been great.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? Excellent.
Thanks for having us. This is beyond my wildest imagination.
Of course, of course. Well, we're really happy to have you and all of the Solflare team. If you haven't already, go and check out the Solflare booth downstairs. There's like 1 million people crowding around it to try and do stuff. So definitely go and check it out. So the title of this section is Building the Dream Wallet. And Solflare has been one of the OG wallets in Solana for many years now. So we're just going to have a chat about what it's like building a wallet. Maybe to start, for people sort of not familiar, I guess there's probably in this crowd, there's a lot of people that maybe their first interaction with crypto was through a centralized exchange, an email and a password. Having an actual non-custody wallet is a completely different story, right? So maybe you can step us through, like, how did you get started with Solflare? What's the growth story been like? And yeah, sort of step us through the last couple of years with the craziness going on in bull markets and bear markets.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe a longer rewind, but me and the team that's close to me, we've been working on dominantly non-EVM blockchains for over 7 years. So
it's a long time.
It's a long time for non-EVM blockchains especially.
Yeah, right.
It's a long time for ETH as well.
Yeah.
We basically were like exploring new performance technologies, and we came to Solana like late 2019, early 2020. There was nothing there. Solana was below $1. It was just like this like cool idea with a proof of concept almost.
I mean, that's when it was just another coin in the thousands of coins out there with a sea of things. And a lot of promises of, yeah, we can scale, we can do something, blah, blah. It's just all words.
And obviously, our thinking was that the way to like communicate and interface with a blockchain wasn't like black terminal. Maybe some of the developers would prefer that, but if this Solana was to reach like more critical mass, we decided let's build Solana's first wallet. And in early 2020, that's how Solflare became.
And back then as well, we had the Solid.io. People out there that are OGs probably remember that one. But that was kind of like one of the wallets that a lot of people were using back in the day. So we didn't really have actual, properly constructed and user interface design and extensions that actually work and are nice. And I guess Solflare was one of the first iterations of that.
Solflare's first version actually was a web wallet.
Right.
So it was sort of a copy of MITRE wallet. We wanted to have this interface to quickly look at your balance, send some tokens, and staking was also pretty big at the beginning. I think at some point, like at the beginning, more than 70% of Solana circulating supply was staked through Solflare.
Okay, wow.
Which we weren't aware of until we wrote some scripts, figured it out, and it was a startling revelation that, oh shit, this is real.
People want a wallet.
People want a wallet.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then later we proceeded to build all other platforms such as mobile, such as a browser extension, which is sort of like the de facto standard for today's wallets, but I don't think it's the de facto standard for future wallets.
Well, we'll get into that in a moment. I think maybe I want to talk about the challenges of growing a wallet, but when we say a wallet, we've got to keep in mind this is the fundamental building block of like everything. Right? Like all the things that we're talking about, all of these different, dApps that were on stage, often in crypto land and in Solana land, it starts with a wallet address. It starts with a non-custodial wallet where you own your own keys. You're clicking connect wallet up the top, and you're connecting your wallet, and now you can interact with the world. So maybe just sort of walk us through what are some of the challenges as a company, as a founder, as just someone in the Solana community with building like a top-class wallet?
Yeah, so as you said, when people figure out about Solana, like the first thing that they need to do, if they're not doing it on a centralized exchange, is get a wallet. I would say we hold a lot of responsibility where people come on, and if they have a bad experience, they will not stay.
Yeah.
So we need to think deeply about user experience, but not only that, we also need to think deeply about, are we fulfilling all of the users' needs? Will they be able to do all the things that they've intended to do when they came to the wallet? If we fail, even if we like make a small mistake, we sort of lose that user, and I think that's not good enough for the overall growth of crypto, and especially Solana. Obviously, like self-custody is not easy to explain. You probably all heard terms like not your keys, not your funds, and if you lose your keys, they're gone forever. This concept of this like final custody is like really foreign and needs some time to be digested. If you really lose that little piece of information, the password that you onboarded with, your money is gone. So we put in a lot of like education around that, how to back it up properly, and how to even use some of the more like advanced methods of self-custody, like hardware wallets. So you can write down your like 12-word seed phrase, or you can even use a little like ledger or keystone device that is able to safely custody those funds. They're still under your custody, but in a let's say adds one more layer of security to the whole process. In terms of like other things that have been sort of hard when scaling and growing is, especially in recent times, there's a lot of new stuff coming up. So like new NFT standards, new protocols, support
Always.
for everything, and everyone wants everything supported. All of the new token types and hybrid NFTs and 404s, it's almost like a race to support them all. But our users ask for it, so we do it. We do everything for our users, basically.
That's what you have to do. What you said there about it being the first interface into like the Solana world, and if it's not done right, people just leave. I don't know if it was you that we were having a chat, or whether I saw the stat recently somewhere on Twitter, but like a really large percentage of users, their only interaction with Web3 stuff is kind of just through the wallet. Like they don't really, because one of the problems I guess is like discovering what all of the other apps are that are out there and what they can do. So I guess getting the wallet right is super critical.
That's exactly right. So the stat is around 50% of funded wallets never connect to a dApp.
There you go. That's a good one. Wow.
So what they usually do is they on-ramp, buy some crypto, use the wallet to stake their Sol, use maybe some of the funds that they bought to like trade coins, buy Sol, sell Sol, like trading activities, look at their NFTs that they've received on conferences like that, or maybe some other events, maybe sell them, but it's still, I would say, like even despite wallets being perceived as like these explorers and browsers to Web3, there's still this piece of software that users use to look at their funds, send their funds, and not to explore Web3. I mean, I need to admit that like exploring Web3 is sometimes scary. There's a lot of scams, there's a lot of spam, you can like easily lose your funds. So we are like putting safeguards in place to try to save those users, for them to not do something like stupid or irresponsible. Stupid, no, irresponsible, maybe.
Yeah, and one of the important things when you manage your own funds as well is, well, what happens if the wallet blows up tomorrow and disappears? And we saw that with Solid as well, right? Is like the website went down. Technically, yes, you could back up your words and then you could import them into a wallet like Solflare and it would work. And great, if you did that, amazing. But I think one of the important things is having a sustainable business model. So I want to talk about like a business model for a wallet. Like, how do you think about that? Because if people are managing their own coins, you can't like get them to pay you some money, right?
Yep.
Like usually if you go to a bank, I mean, they have your money and then they can just deduct from it, right? But if you own your keys, no one can do that. So how do you build a business around that?
As a bank, not only can you take or basically deduct from the user's money, you can also deposit it into somewhere that makes you money, even more, far more than you would charge the user. So essentially, Solflare at its core is a free product. Anyone can use it for free. Anyone can use Sol. Anyone can access its like features for free. Similar to banks, but not same. When you do some like currency exchange, what we do is we route your order to multiple places, Jupiter, market makers, basically try to get the best quote for the exchange that you want to do, and then we take something, a fee on top of that spread. Staking is pretty popular on Solana, so there's a Solflare validator, of which...
Very popular.
very popular. An interesting fact is that part of the revenue from the Solflare validator, we actually use to fund special types of transactions, GTO bundles to be more specific, which enhances the probability of the transaction landing. So we had sort of some congestion. Solana had some congestion issues in the past few months, and that was one of the ways how Solflare users had a much more better experience in transacting on Solana.
Well, I mean, I think I saw you on Twitter talking about, was it like you did some optimizations on the RPC side as well, and like doing everything you can, because if I'm doing a transaction, whatever project it is, like I'm always dealing with my wallet. So it's kind of like, it always comes back to the wallet to try and like solve that problem of Solana was very congested. We had, a lot of transactions going on, and yes, there was, a lot of the transactions weren't going onto the chain and blah, 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 but it was on you guys then, I guess. What was it like? Was it damage control? Were you like not sleeping? What was going on?
Maybe that would be a more romantic story.
Okay.
But when we were prepping our infrastructure for the Jupiter launch, we sort of had this idea that something like this might happen. So we implemented our solution back then. I think it was like end of January.
Yep.
And then in recent times when actually we've seen some of the congestion, it worked perfectly. And the landing rates in Solflare, I think, from the data that we've gathered, far surpassed any other wallet.
Amazing. Yeah, well, that's all about like investing in things that improve the lives of your users.
But just to add, I mean, we sort of had the luxury of being able to sit and think about how we're going to do stuff, because our sole focus is on Solana. We're not doing multiple chains or multiple products. I think the fact that we're focusing only on making the best Solana experience for our users benefits, so that in these times we can be very proactive and already have some systems in place that would yield the best user experience.
Yeah, well, why is that as well, that you're just focused on Solana? Because I often meet people at conferences that come up to you and they're like, oh, why aren't you on this chain or doing that chain or something like that? I mean, why is it that you are maybe just not even interested in doing that?
Yeah, so I think we've noticed some of Solana's benefits back in 2019, and we worked on a lot of blockchains. We've seen that transaction fees, consensus mechanism, and all of that throughput is like very different from what we've seen before. It sort of made sense to make this bet, although this bet wasn't as apparent sometimes last year, but we decided, okay, let's double down. We don't want to dilute our focus, do multiple blockchains, because we really hold the belief that Solflare and Solana, or basically Solana, has the capability to be the underpinning of this future and coming financial system. And instead of sort of diluting our efforts and implementing 5 other blockchains of potentially different maturity levels, different stability levels, looking at the common, lowest common denominator of features, we're looking to drill really deep into Solana and bring everything that Solana can offer to our users.
Yeah, it's about being really good at one thing versus mediocre at many. I think that's a good thing to focus on. So we spoke a little bit about backups and non-custodial stuff, and some wallets have solutions like social recoveries, or maybe they're more centralized in these different things. And maybe talking to users about how to back up their wallet, it can be difficult, especially if it's the first time. It's like when you're first setting up your wallet, don't forget these words. You can use these words to redeem your money at any time in the future. Is that an easy process? Is there better ways, or is that going to be with us for the next few years in this whole sort of 12, 24 words thing?
Yeah. So we're maximalists of self-custody.
Yep.
We're not necessarily crypto maximalists, because I think crypto maximalism sometimes does more harm than good. And I think if we are now trying to discuss is writing down 12 words on a piece of paper hard, I don't think we as a whole civilization will get so far. That shouldn't, I think that's not the core of the issue. The core of the issue is let's see how this can be best presented. Because if you just tell someone, hey, don't lose this, you're going to lose your funds, maybe that doesn't hold enough like that sentence like doesn't hold enough power. It needs to be much more apparent, and obviously needs to have like many stages depending on the amount of funds you have in your wallet. These like social logins are fine and are definitely a good sort of middle ground and transitioning layer to like full self-custody. They obviously come with their trade-offs. If you want to be in like the final owner of these assets, I think like self-custody and either holding your keys with yourself or in a hardware wallet, there's no other thing. We've seen some like good examples also with like new technologies such as like passkeys or account abstraction, smart wallets. Those are like still tech that like has to like prove itself at the end of the day.
Yeah, amazing. And I think one of the things which Solflare does really well is hardware wallet support as well. So was that always a focus for you guys, or is it sort of a question of working with the right teams that have the right infrastructure? Because it seems like having a browser extension or a mobile app, that's one way to secure your money, but having a physical device that no one can ever move your money, nobody can scam you, or you click a wrong link or something like that to do something, like as long as you have that device, no one can do anything with you. So how do you look at maybe new integrations of hardware wallets or just hardware wallets in general?
Yeah, so I think that was one of the most counterintuitive decisions that we made early on. I think even the first version of Solflare was ledger first, and not like mnemonic phrase first. That reasoning stemmed from our presence in crypto for a long time and our understanding of crypto and self-custody. And why it was counterintuitive, because if you like look at the amount of people that have a hardware wallet is much less than people who want to interact with crypto. So if we would have looked at the numbers saying like, okay, 1% of our users are using hardware wallets, let's not prioritize hardware wallets. I think some of our best, most active users and ambassadors actually were users that we gave a really secure and powerful experience using hardware wallets. Solflare supports Ledger on both mobile and extension. Like the Bluetooth implementation on mobile was very hard to do.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now it works really nice, and also we support this like novel new hardware wallet called Keystone. Keystone is like camera based, so like you don't need to like plug it in. You can just like scan QR codes on both ends. It works really nice. What like makes me happy is that we see like groundbreaking stuff in terms of the hardware wallets, especially more recently in like some like telco providers announced that like SIM cards have the capability to generate and store private keys. Smart cards as your credit cards have the capabilities to like generate, store private keys. And we're gonna see self-custody more and more evolve, but not necessarily writing down your keys, but maybe in your credit card or your SIM card, which is, I think, a whole new paradigm to be explored.
Yeah, maybe it's not a problem per se of, people need to manage these keys and what if they lose it? And maybe it'll just fade into the background over time where, okay, if your credit card has a private key generator, then you can rely on that. But I also want to talk about, so yesterday I had a call with Anatoly on stage here, and we were talking about mobile. And mobile, very important thing. We had the Saga, we had the Saga 2. I think it's over 100,000 units. Maybe it's 200,000 units now. Solflare has a mobile wallet.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Like, how does that, in terms of maybe focus for you and the team?
Yeah.
Are you excited about mobile? Do you think there's like more things that can be done on mobile?
So we have a mobile app. We had it since first breakpoint. It was November 2021 when we launched. We've seen huge amounts of traction on mobile, and we've seen like the whole world evolve towards mobile, and the behavior of users is becoming more and more mobile-centric.
Well, I think most people here have probably used mobile because there was like claiming of NFTs and stuff downstairs.
Yes, at a Solflare booth, you could have claimed an NFT using your mobile because you can scan a QR code. I think mobile apps aren't going anywhere. And I think those ecosystems, although a bit gated, are going to here and stay. While on the other hand, if we think about how like wallets work in a web context, like I personally don't think that browser extensions are going to be the future of wallets. So it's up to us and the industry to figure out how we can do a non-disjointed, not broken flow for interfacing with dApps and managing your funds on your laptop or your desktop computer. In terms of activity and the amount of like some like trivial metrics like number of staking, swaps, transfers, mobile users are much more active.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Why do you think that is? Are they, I don't know if you guys have the stats or just have a feel, but is that because they're more involved in, I think NFTs probably, they're more sort of mobile focused or, yeah, I don't know. What do you think's behind that?
On it, we don't have much data on this, but we see some like emerging markets be really active on mobile, which makes me really happy because they are using crypto for what I personally think crypto is supposed to be used for, and not just tools for speculation. So emerging markets are really big on mobile because we optimize Solflare to have like a small like app size, not be like really like data consuming. So I guess people recognize that and use Solflare as their wallet of choice.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's where we need to be. We're running up on time here, but maybe just some thoughts on the future of Solflare. What are you excited about? And yeah, that can be for Solflare or just in general in Solana.
Yeah, so what makes me really happy is that I like vividly remember this industry 7 or 8 years ago. I also vividly remember when we started Solflare in 2020. And I also see all the things that are happening now. And all of these are like worlds of difference. Infrastructure is maturing. There's a much bigger amount of like user-centric apps. And we know that it's like still hard to get started, but that will get fixed. And we think that, I think that crypto will and self-custody will reach massive scale in the coming years. For Solflare specifically, our users are always our #1 priority. And when you're building a wallet, your second number one priority is security.
Yep.
So we always prioritize security. Like we run a tight ship. We take our stuff seriously. And
does that affect the development process? Because I guess one of the important things with running a wallet is because you're literally at the bottom of the stack in terms of everything else depends on it. If there's a problem at the wallet level, that's really bad, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that limits the frequency of which you can put out new updates, or you have to like double, triple, quadruple check everything.
Yes, the release process, especially on many platforms, is quite painful. Everything needs to be tested multiple times. We cannot break an experience for existing users, and we need to make sure that we didn't introduce any new bugs. Sometimes running like a website is easy, you just deploy, but knowing that your software holds keys that hold tens of billions of dollars, I mean, you shed some sweat sometimes.
Do you lose sleep at night?
Yeah, not really, because we know like stuff is secure, but it definitely brings on a huge responsibility, and that makes me happy. Like seeing how the ecosystem evolves, and in terms of Solflare, focusing on security features, focusing on seasonal trading features, and at the end of the day, what I previously told, putting Solana and Solflare's user base to use, so we can like get to more noble crypto use cases.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just quickly, do you think some of the future developments people talk about in Solana, like Fire Dancer, or maybe more now things like the DPIN stuff going on, do you think that will positively affect what you guys are doing at the wallet level?
Yeah, I think all these new versions, new software that's being built, client diversity will help the network health massively, which also then affects our users. Their transactions are landing faster, they have a better experience, they see how cheap it is to send money, to interact with apps, use some on-chain financial products. DPIN, like you buy a camera, you get some tokens, some other deepin protocols as well. So I'm pretty bullish on the future of Solana and what it will bring.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Vidor. For anyone out there, if you haven't already, go down to the Solflare booth, go and check it out. And in general, if you're watching on the live stream, like just go and check out and get a Solflare wallet. It's an amazing wallet. It's actually my daily usage. I use both the hardware wallet, the Keystone version, the Ledger version, the mobile version, the extension version, everything Solflare. So yeah, go and check it out. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, George.
Cheers.
For having me.